Hi guys, welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. One thing you should know about me is I have like 200 horses on this game and only about 50 of them are trained. Like a fourth. It's sad. So today we're going to be doing some training because it is seriously needed and I'm going to procrastinate if I don't make a video. So to make it more fun, I'm going to be combining training with one of my favorite tasks, which is scrolling through the Star Stable Reddit page. Ew! And I know that's gonna make me sound like those like the Reddit memes where it's like tips fedora, but like honestly I low-key jive with Reddit. People are pretty chill over there and it's just like yapping, and I feel like it's a lot less harmful than other social medias at this point in time. So yeah, I vibe with it, and if you think I look like a Discord mod because of it, that's okay. It is what it is. I'm just living my truth. So anyway, we're starting here in Moorland because I feel like I love to start my training in Moorland just because there's so much XP and such like a little range. Oh, also, yes, this is the same outfit from last video, but
I don't care.
So moving on. Okay, so we'll start with Loretta's races and move from there. So the first post that I'm going to be looking at today is from a user named Evergrey, and their question was, what is your favorite— nope, that's not what it says. It's what is your comfort character in SSO? So before we look at the replies, I'll tell you mine, even though no one asked. So personally, my two favorite characters in this game are Elizabeth Sunbeam, rest in peace queen, and Avalon. I know Avalon's kind of like random, but I don't know, I just get good vibes from the man. Like, he's low-key the definition of unbothered. Like, that man will just shuffle around his house in Valedale and collect herbs and be mysterious under a hood, and that's something I can get behind. So yeah, big fan of Avalon. And then Elizabeth, of course, I feel like everyone loves Elizabeth. She's just always been really special to me. I think it was just like the fact that Elizabeth was always someone who vouched for our character and for the other soul riders as well, which I just thought was like really respectable. She was always very like matriarchal as well. She's very comforting, you know? Additionally, if I had to give some honorary mentions, it would definitely be Miss Holdsworth. I love her, my queen, and also probably Conrad, just because I love Conrad and his juicy— sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, wow, level 8 already. Look at us making progress, guys. That's not even the right thing. Hello? Okay, so the top reply on the post is from a user named Winter Hippo. Love that, by the way. And they said, my comfort character is Herman. He's like an uncle you can always go to when you have a problem. And I don't like Frip. Whoa. Honestly, that's kind of a goated take. I feel like Herman, he's so silly, but like he's like an uncle, like literally what they said. I love that. And then the second part of their post says, I wouldn't trust that squirrel as far as I could throw it. Honestly, I kind of agree. Oh, I missed the jump. Frip, you know, some people really like Frip. I think, jeez, what am I doing? I think that Frip is kind of like suspicious and hasn't always— okay, this is like seriously sad. The original poster said in a reply like, Frip does not treat our character super well and he doesn't really treat other NPCs super well either. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about that. I know some people really like Frip and some people like absolutely despise him. Personally, I don't really feel very strongly either way. I think he's like, he has some times where I'm like, dude, can you chill? Even if I try to give an argument for or against Frip, like nothing's coming to my head right now. He's just kind of there for me. Okay, I'm gonna run over to Fort Pinta really quick and we can do the races over there. Okay, so I just realized I didn't even read the original poster's response to their own question, so I'm gonna do that really quick. They said that their comfort character was Evergrey, which makes sense given their name, and they didn't really give a reason. And then they said their confront character, which by the way, if you don't know what that means, it's like a character that you don't really like. So it's like the opposite of a comfort character, if that makes sense. And they said their confront character is Idris, which honestly, I feel like that's really a popular— I know it depends. So it could be— This has always been a very polarizing subject in Star Stable. You either love Idris or you absolutely hate him. Personally, like, I feel like I like Idris. I think I can understand why people don't like him. He gives like male manipulator vibes, I will say. And based on my own history, it makes sense that that does not turn me away, is all I'm gonna say. However, I totally understand why some people don't like that. And I do think that he has done some things in the past where it's like, So that makes sense. So then the user Vicky Bird said, Miss Holdsworth is 100% my comfort character. Grandmother vibes all the way. To the point I'm writing it into my personal character lore fanfiction. That is so cool. Also, I totally agree. I think Miss Holdsworth definitely has like the most cozy grandmother vibes, especially with her little cottage over in Moreland. Like, it's just so cute, and the way she bakes and stuff, I love it. Chef's kiss. Also, I think it's so cool when people have like OC lore and like fan fictions regarding their own character in Star Stable. Like, that's so cool. I feel like I would honestly read Star Stable like that feels weird to say, like fan fiction. It's interesting when people do stuff with like the lore, not necessarily like romantic fan fictions, but like Star Stable fan fictions where it's like they're taking their own spin on like the main story and stuff. Like, that is so cool, and there's some really creative people out there. So, and then this is interesting. Vicky also said for their confront characters, almost all of the druids except for Evergrey Elizabeth. Oh, I was not looking at the screen. We're going swimming. Anyway, what I was saying was they said their confront characters were almost all of the druids except for Evergrey, Elizabeth, and Rhiannon. Rhiannon. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to say that, and I never have. So I feel like that's a really interesting take. I understand why you wouldn't hate Elizabeth, because she's literally like sunshine embodied in an NPC. But everyone else, I'm like, wow, I didn't know people didn't like Avalon. I'm a little bit offended, honestly. Not really, it's fine. And then the last one I'm going to read from this post is from the user Crying Ashes, and they said their comfort character is probably Jenna. She gives loving and supportive mom vibes, and if she ever gets updated, I will honestly be heartbroken. Honestly, valid. And that's a really interesting point. Like, she does give mom vibes. I totally understand how that could be your comfort character. She's super sweet. And then for their confront character, they said gonna get hated on, but Sabine, I do not like her at all. She gives high school mean girl, and that's just annoying to me. I know people fawn over her, but she's just a please get off my screen. I also wholeheartedly agree with this, and if you know, like, if you've ever played the Starshine Legacy games, specifically the first one, you will know that Sabine is 100% literally a high school mean girl. That lore kind of got lost in the translation to this game now, but it's literally canon that she is a high school bully in Jorvik High in Starshine Legacy. And even her new updated character, I'm not the biggest fan of. Like, I think her character design is really cool. However, I just find her dialogue and like everything kind of annoying. Sorry. Okay, moving on to the next post. The next post is from the user Blue Onyx, and the title is Weather Thoughts. And they said, I really wish SSO had weather consistently. And I have to pay attention really quick or I'm going to fall into the water.
I am under the water. Please help me.
Anyway, I really wish SSO had weather consistently, even simple rain and thunder. Other MMOs have weather easily. In Final Fantasy, I don't know what that Roman numeral is. You can actually follow the weather patterns. Would anyone else like to see this in the game? So I think this is a really interesting concept. I personally would like to see weather in the game, but I think that it would be like something that you as the player have control over, kind of like the creative time of day slider. Just because, like, for example, in my instance, if I wanted to record a video and it was like thunderstorming and raining and I didn't really want that, like that would kind of be a problem. But sometimes, you know, if I'm just like playing alone by myself at night, or if I'm like training or something, I do think having like a rain option or like a storm option or even like a foggy misty option could be really fun, just because it has like chill vibes. And I know there's like Reshade presets there's like Reshade presets for rain, which are really cool. I haven't tried them yet and I totally should. I bet I would love them. But yeah, I think that would be a really fun addition to the game. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, they totally could do this, because if you think back to earlier Star Stable, like years ago, they used to have snow like all the time all over Jorvik in the winter. Do they still?
Wait, do they still do that?
I kind of can't remember. Maybe they do. Wait, I think it is. It's a toggled option, right? You can turn the snow on and off. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that they didn't do that anymore. Anyway, going like based off of that, I feel like they could absolutely implement rain. And then in a reply, a user named Adventurous Monk 690 said, foggy days as well. Would be very fun if they added slippery rocks, muddy spots, and mud splashes that can dirty up our horse. I 100% agree. I think that would be so fun. That would actually give like more of a purpose to the grooming mechanic. I'm really sorry it's so laggy over here. Like everyone and their mom is out today. But what I was trying to say is if we had like those muddy spots or puddles and stuff like that, it would absolutely give more purpose to the grooming mechanics, which could be kind of fun. Additionally, stuff with like picking the hooves if you're going in like a rocky terrain. I guess that's not really weather. I don't know. I kind of went rogue there by accident, but that would be a really fun addition. Anyway, next post. Okay, the next post is from someone named Historical Help 125, and they said, I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool for players to look after and pet each other's horses and maybe even ride them? I think that would be so cool. So the top reply on this post is from someone named Yummy Yaw, and they said, this is bringing me back to 12-year-old me thinking I could steal other people's horses if they weren't riding it, and that made me laugh because it's so true. I feel like that's a rite of passage when you play this game. Like when you're at Moorland on your starter horse and you see someone's horse like unattended to and you just try to go up and take it. Like that would work. Anyway, that was funny. But going off of what the original poster said about like riding other people's horses and stuff like that, first of all, you technically can care for other people's horses. I think people literally offer to do that in like global chat from what I see in there. I usually don't open chat because it scares me, but I'm pretty sure people do offer that because it's also like a really good way to level up your horses because you get XP from doing it. So that kind of already is in the game. However, riding other people's horses, I'm kind of like torn on. Maybe I can understand if it was like only a friends feature or like only if you're like grouped, but if it was strangers, can you imagine the spam you would get if you were in like Moorland and you just bought the new breed of horse that came out? Oh my gosh, like that would be insane, and I think that would honestly make me mad. Also, like, I don't really think I would want anyone else riding my horses, which is kind of silly, but also like, hey, I paid for this horse and it's special to me and I don't really want anyone else getting on my pixel pony. I don't know. I think that would definitely need some kind of tweaking before it were to get implemented, or it would just be literally all hell breaks loose, especially in the beginner areas like Moorland and Port Pinta. Anyway, do you guys see what I mean? Like, I feel like Reddit is such an interesting place, especially in the context of Star Stable and like games. People actually post really interesting thoughts on there. I promise I'm not a weird fedora man, okay? Next post. Okay, so this next post is kind of more of like an arbitrary question, I guess. It's from the user Remy? I don't know. But they asked, is it worth it to level up your horse to level 15? So if you guys didn't know, the maximum speed for your horse is now unlocked at level 13. This got changed a while back. It used to be, obviously, you would max your horse out at level 15 to get it the fastest. Now you only have to go to 13 and then it's maximum speed. But you can still get it to 15 for the golden nameplate and also just for like completion, I guess. Anyway, the reason I'm reading this one is I'm just curious about other people's opinions on it. Like me personally, I do try to get my horses to level 15 just because it feels more natural to me since I've been playing for so long. Even though I know they're technically as fast as they're gonna be when they hit level 13, in my lizard brain, I'm like, no, they have to be level 15 or they're not gonna be fast enough. And that's not the case, but I don't know. It's ingrained in my bones, I guess. It runs deep. Level 15 maximum speed runs deep, okay? And also, I don't really like the number 13. And if all of my horses were level 13, I think I would just be uncomfortable. Like I walk into my stable and I just see 13s everywhere. No. I don't like that. Anyway, a lot of the replies to this post were just basically saying that like, hey, you can go to level 13, your horse will be maximum speed, and the only benefit to level 15 is the golden nameplate, right? Do you guys like the golden nameplates? I'm kind of torn on it because it doesn't really go super well with my stable.
Oh my god, bro.
If I had the option, I would make the nameplates like maybe like black or something. I don't know. That would be cool if they made it like so you could customize the color of them once you hit level 15 instead of just making them gold. Anyway, that's like a whole other idea that is not in this post. Wow, level 9. Okay, and then this next post is from a user called Desert Eyes, and their post is titled SSO could and should, in my opinion, expand their horse customization. And then they attached a photo of their Ardennes and basically explained how, for whatever reason, it was like glitched out. You know how when you put boots or leg wraps on the Ardennes, their feathers disappear. Basically, she didn't have any like leg wraps or anything, any decoration on the horse, but the feathers weren't appearing. And so she said, this got me thinking, SSO could and should expand their customization system. Feathers or no feathers, changing mane and tail styles separately, which they kind of have now, but we'll talk about that. Even being able to change the length of the tail would be cool. I personally love short tails. And then they also added, sort of related to that, I wish mane styles were part of the retrofitting. I would love my Arabian to have a roached mane like my IRL horse, but they only have old mane style options. And that's a really good point. I've run into this problem too with some of the older horses that I go to buy, and I'm like expecting a certain mane style just because I'm used to them on the new horses and they're not there. That would be really interesting for the team to take on as a project, just retrofitting. Oh my gosh, I always say retrofitting. Anyway, like I was saying, I do think it would be interesting for the retrofitting team to take on the mane styles as a project. Granted, I don't know if that's the same team or a different team, if it's like more of like the horse design team rather than like the retrofitting, because retrofitting works on the tack and that's two different areas of the game. I don't know. And then additionally, going off of what she said about like further customizations, I think that would be really interesting, especially for horses like the Ardennes or the Jorvik Wild. Especially like the Jorvik Wild has some crazy beard action going on that I'm not the biggest fan of. Or even like giving the option to have less hair in like the Jorvik Wild's ears, kind of like a clipped ear appearance. I think that could be really fun. This is honestly a really good idea from the original poster, talking about like feathers versus no feathers and stuff like that. I know personally I'm usually a fan of having no feathers on my horses. Well, I guess the newer horses you can just put leg wraps on them, but for horses like the Irish Cob that I'm riding right now, I can't put leg wraps on, and then it kind of ruins a lot of outfits, but it's okay. But I would absolutely love to see that feature added. Oh, also one of the replies on that post talked about how they wish that they would let us customize the magical horses' manes and tails. And oh my god, yes. Because some of the magic horses, I really like the coat, but then they put on like the most dookie hairstyle. And I'm like, dude, you ruined it. Like, I don't want it anymore. Or I just feel like some of them would look so much better with a different mane style. And I know it would be more work to like go through and then actually add in the other textures for the other mane styles, but I feel like a lot of people want that. I think that's been talked about before, and for a good reason. Like, I genuinely don't understand why they don't let us have that option. But moving on, this is probably going to be our last post for today because I'm running out of space on my hard drive. So for the last post I'm going to talk about, this is actually a reply to another post that was just basically asking like about your dream updates, stuff like that. And the user I Am Possum replied, I hope and pray that AQHs get a well-deserved update. My favorite breed ever, and I fear they were done so dirty. And I absolutely agree, but it's complicated. Obviously, they were redone. In the grand scheme of things, the American quarter horses were released pretty recently. They're generation 3, but they were pretty early, and it was like one of Star Stable's first attempts at like their new style of horses, I kind of feel like. And you can tell the horses now have kind of moved away from that type of style. However, that being said, they are still kind of new, and I don't really see them changing it in the future, or at least in the near future. And it is unfortunate because I know so many people love quarter horses, myself included, and the way that they made them in Star Stable just isn't the best representation of them, especially with how low they have their heads. Like, that I think is what bothers me the most. The rest of it's fine. Their animations are fine. Their special move is really fun. It's just the way they carry their heads specifically that I cannot stand. And I have a few quarter horses and I like them. I like their coats. I just don't really ride them. Granted, I also don't ride them because I have like literally 150 horses to train, but that's neither here nor there. I was coming over here to record my outro and there's just a girl on the roof. Okay, absolutely. All right, I think that's gonna be all the Reddit posts I read for now, just because, like I said, my hard drive is literally running out of space and I need to get some stuff done in real life. But if you guys liked this type of video, let me know. We can absolutely do more in the future. There is no shortage of interesting stuff posted on the Reddit every day, and there's certainly no shortage of horses that I need to train. If you liked the video, please feel free to leave a like below and subscribe for more in the future. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next video.